So today we'll talk about the mobile application testing. So why do we need to understand about mobile testing? So we have already discussed how to write test cases, how to create a scenarios, how to execute your test scenarios, and how to write a defect reports, right? It should be the same when we deal with the mobile application as well. So the test process is same. The test documentations, we can call it as artifacts like SRS, test plan, test strategy, test cases, test execution, all are same whether we are testing a web application or mobile application or any other type of application. But there are some testing types and techniques that are relevant for mobile application testing. Also, there are some concepts about mobile development that you need to understand in order to test your mobile application efficiently, right? So the efficiency of your scenarios and your defect may be, double by understanding some basic informations about mobile testing. At first, we need to understand what is mobile application. Right, a mobile application is one of the software application which is designed to run on mobile device. Right, so any application that is run from mobile device, whether it is a smartphone or tablet, right, it's considered as a mobile application. Even if you open the application from the browser, right? So, for example, if you open the Facebook website from the browser on your mobile phone, whether it is iPhone or whether it is an Android device, right? That is a mobile application. You may think that is a website. This is a Facebook website, yes, but this is mobile version of Facebook, right? And it requires the type of testing that is relevant to the mobile testing or mobile application. So mobile testing is quality check to ensure that it meets all the requirements and specification in terms of its hardware and software before it is released to the real-time user. So scope is same. Scope is same in any application testing, like whether you are a web application, whether it is a mobile application, right? The scope is same only, right? Now in mobile application, there are few basic differences that are important to understand. So first, let us understand there will be different types of mobile application. So there is different types of mobile application. So now what is the different type of mobile? So we have a native app is there. One is a mobile web application and another one is hybrid web application, right? Now the native means first let us understand what is native mobile application. Native mobile application is developed for use on a particular platform or you can say devices. So those applications are developed specifically for an operating system. Right, for example, an app developed for iOS will only work on an iPhone or iPad, not on an Android device. Right, same way, an application developed for Android will only work on an Android or tablet, not on the iPhone. So native app has a single platform, like here in native application installation is required. Right, of course, we have to install physically on the device. We can install from like a Google Play Store or you can go with the App Store. Right? If you are using Android, we'll install from Google Play Store. And if you are using iPhone, then we'll install from that app Store, right? So we can update as well. So we can update from the same Play Store or we can go for an App Store. So many native application like, it's require the internet connection as well. That native app works faster when compared to mobile web application, right? That is also we need to understand. So you don't need to know that technology behind that is used to develop those applications. If you are a tester, you just need to know the impact of them on your testing methodology and testing strategies. And also native application have some traits like first they provide good performance because the application is developed especially for the particular operating system. So the performance is extremely good. Of course, if it is developed in a good way, okay, that we need to consider. But on the other hand, it has a high cost because we need to separate mobile application. One for Android and one for iOS, right? And we have, for example, you can say WhatsApp and Spotify. These are, native mobile application. So tested on Android is different from one that is tested on iOS. Right? First question that you need to ask before testing any application. Why testing? What type of testing we are going to, which type of application is this one? Right? Is it a web application? Is it a hybrid application or it's a native application? Right, first question that you need to ask before testing any application. Right, what is the use of this information for you as a tester? Because if you know, like if you know that what is the type of application, based on that you can write a scenario. Right, all your scenarios should be tested on on Android, and all your scenarios should be tested on iOS, or how you are going to write the scenario, so that you will come to know all those things. Right, so that first you need to ask that which type of application is this, right? So what is the scope of the application? So based on that you have to start writing your scenarios. So next thing is we have another one is mobile web application. So mobile web applications are server side application to access website on mobile using different browsers like Chrome, Firefox, by connecting to the mobile network. Anyone can launch a website within a short time, within a minimum resources. Right. So web applications works very fast and efficiently displays everything correctly. For example, many of us, expect a web page to load in just within a second, or 1 or 2 seconds or less, thereby making efficiency a top priority for developer and mobile app testing. Right? For example, a mobile application, we can say Netflix is there, Facebook is there, Google Drive is there. Right? Browser-based application. These are browser-based application. So in the is the opposite to native application. Right? So browser-based applications are accessed through mobile browser. You open the application from the browser, and it has a it's a developing. It's very low cost compared to native application because it's a easy to develop. In some cases, you don't need to know any effort in order to get a browser-based application. You just open the particular browser, right website, and it open in your mobile. Here we have a problem is, first we need to understand the compatibility testing should be here. Right, browser compatibility testing we have to perform if you are working on a mobile web application. So you have to write a scenario for the browser compatibility as well. Here we are dealing with the many browser, right? Because this is a mobile web application. So here we have a many browser. That is, we have a Safari is there, Firefox is there, Chrome is there, Android is there, iOS. So also there is problem with internet connection. What if we don't have an internet connection? We go to native mobile application. Some of the application feature can be accessed even the applications is offline. But on the other hand, the browser-based applications, you cannot access anything in the application, right? Unless you have an internet connection. So for example, you can take an YouTube. So in YouTube, you can download a video and watch it later as well if you go with the mobile application. But if you open YouTube from your browser, so if you open the YouTube from the browser, this option is not available. I mean, download option is not available. So browser-based application is not on mobile application. That is what we have to understand. So while writing a test scenario, these are the things we need to consider, right? These are the different things we need to write a scenarios and we need to validate all those things. So the next thing is we have another one, that is a hybrid app. Hybrid apps are combination of native and web apps. So these apps are typically developed using a web technology such as HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, and are wrapped in a native app container that allows them to install and run on different devices as well. So that is what your hybrid web application, mobile application, right? So now the next thing is we'll understand what is the different types of mobile devices, right? So which devices, we'll consider to mobile devices and which is not. So first we have the, we'll take a basic one. See, this is a basic one. Basic phone is very old, but is still used somebody, right? But the basic phone is used only for a phone call and sending a SMS. You can make from that call, and you can send and receive the message from the basic phone. It provides you few built-in app and games. Mostly if you work as a software tester, you will not be dealt with the basic phone. Your company will not going to ask you to test that application on the basic calls on the devices. Installation or app browsing is not possible, right? Here, there is no browser. So browser is not possible. So there is no browser on it. You cannot go with that. This type of phone is not used in a software testing unless you are working in the particular company, right? So then we have another phone, we can call it as a feature phone. So the feature phone has a limited support. So the next one is then we have a smartphone. Right, this is most popular one, which is like 90% of the mobile testing is done using this smartphone only. Right, smartphones have a several things, and application installation is possible here. Most of the mobile testing, when we say mobile testing, we mean smartphones. Then we have a tablet is there, right? Then so the tablet is very similar to the smartphone, but here we need to understand the difference, right? While writing a scenario for that, mobile application, then we need to consider that, what are the application, what are the devices we are going to use. Maybe if it is a smartphone, maybe it is a tablet. If I am testing an application on mobile phone or a smartphone or tablet, it's a different between them, right? First, the tablet is a similar to a smartphone, but it is a larger one. So what is that effect is going to happen? Because the tablet has a larger screen. There your any mobile application will be different over here. So if you tested this mobile application on a smartphone, it was mostly all UI elements appear correctly. So also need to test it on the tablet as well to find the difference between the elements here and there, we need to validate. Also the tablet may support longer battery life. So that is also we need to validate over here. So we need to consider while writing a scenarios. So now suppose like, if you take a tablets, not all the tablets include a SIM card, right? So in this case, if this an application, for an example, that requires sending a OTP to your mobile, right? If you are having, and also if the tablet includes a SIM card, right? It is not used for coding. It is just used for an internet access. It's not used for a calling under, right? We have an option for inserting the SIM card, some tablet, but we are not able to call the mobile, but it is just used for the internet access. In this case, if I receive a OTP on the SIM card, will it be received correctly and inserted into that particular application correctly or not? So, lot of scenarios we need to validate. We have to consider. This is just an example I'm telling, right? Test scenario, you need to specific for the tablets as well, because if you go with the tablet, there will be different scenarios we need to consider. Then we have a something new things, that is we can call it as a smartwatches, right? Nowadays we need to validate here as well. Those are used with the smartphones and tablets as well. So some people call them common devices, like they provide support for special type of application. You might receive notification on them, you might answer message on that, from the smartphone. If your application includes the smartwatches as well, I mean, in this case, you need to test this version, and also you need to test the integration between the application on your tablet, I mean, for your mobile and the smartwatches as well, right? For example, the smartwatch and the smartphone, the integration between them done correctly or not, that we need to validate. So those are the types of different mobile devices. We have seen like, basic phone, we have seen that feature phone, we have seen smartphone and tablet and smartwatches. Right. So like we said earlier, mostly you will be dealing with the smartphones like tablet, and in nowadays we are going with the smartwatches as well. Right. So now if you are working in, if whatever the application you are developing, you are going to test the application, you should know what are the devices they are going to implement, they are going to access that. So based on that, you need to validate all those things. Right. So now next will be consider what are the challenges in mobile testing. So next thing we'll see, when performing testing on a mobile, when you are testing on a mobile application, there are some challenges that are specific to mobile testing. So those challenges mostly will not be faced when you are testing on a web application. So what are those challenges are there? So the most popular challenges that you might face in mobile testing, like we have a multiple platform and multiple devices, right? In mobile testing, we have a different ways to dealing with them, right? Dealing with that application. Like we explained earlier, the difference between the native and the hybrid application. How does that application interact with that iPhone and interact with that Android and tablet or iPhone, right? All of them makes a difference in the behavior of the application. Then also we have a different UI design. The same application might have more than one UI design for each devices or each screen resolution is different, right? If you compare to the smartphone resolution is different. If you take a tablet, smart tablet resolution is different, right? Also, we need to consider while writing a scenarios. So we have to make sure that the satisfaction to the user, right? The user is expecting your application to be easy to use, right? Mobile user expect their application to behave in an easy way. It should be, easy to use. Here, comes usability testing. So usability testing means to make sure that the mobile application is easy to use and provide the satisfaction to the user experience, right, to the customer. Also, we have a multiple network type is there nowadays. Then if you are testing a website from the laptop, mostly you will be connecting to the internet. But in mobile testing, it's completely different. Mobile testing, the user might be accessing the internet from the 3G network or 4G network, now 5G network also, right? From that, or from hotspot or from Wi-Fi, right? You might be working or moving between different Wi-Fi networks. So will your application interact correctly to those changes or not, right? If you come, these are the challenges we are going to face while performing the mobile testing. So when you are writing a scenarios, when you are working on a mobile testing, we need to consider all those things. If you come to memory, you might develop a good application, but this application consumes a lot of memory means. On the other hand, the user is using if suppose they are using an older device, right? Many users have a devices that are manufactured like 3 years or 4 years or even 5 years ago. So in this case, your application is able to deal with those resources or not. That is, we need to validate, right? Each time the user using it, we have a diverse user, like we have a different user persona with a different expectation and different background. So we need to validate those things as well. Another very important point is how we are getting a feedback is affected, right? So when you open your site, any website from your browser, for example, the website doesn't have a section, right, that it tells you like review. So the reviews of the user or their opinions in the site, we are not have any there is no section for them. And even if the website have a section for the reviews, it is managed by the owner or admin people of the site. So admin have access to review that whether we can keep it or whether we can remove it. So he have access, like admin have access to do that. Like he can whether he can remove or that if he doesn't like and leave that, or we can, if it is okay, the review is okay, the feedback is okay, then we can keep it. That is, access is available with the owner. That is, it is managed by the owner of the site, right? That is fine. But in mobile application, it's very different. So in mobile application, if you open any mobile app from the store, you can see all the reviews of the application, right? You could able to see that reviews are coming into the different application. So that is a feedback visibility is there. So if the user doesn't like your application, he can just go to the store and give it to 1 star, or also tells that the reason why he gave that application is 1 star or 2 star. In this case, your reputation will go low, right? And the most elites, the application will not succeed. So this situation doesn't happen in website, right? But it is very easy to have, in web application. Here in a mobile application, there is a high risk. If you are developing a web application with the agile methodology, first we'll go with the beta version to get the feedback from the user, then build upon. I mean, we can change as per the user feedback. So if you have a site, you want to publish it, you just buy a domain and publish it to the posted on the domain. No one will going to tell you that what is inside that the site is. No, it is posting something illegal or for example, but mostly no one would review your site, right? This doesn't happen in website. In mobile app, not like that. We should give a lot of care to this sort of situation. Right? The feedback that you get that first iteration or the first phases might be, if it is not good, mean then others user, if it is not good, then whoever the user remove the application are not going to download that application, right? The quality of the application is low. If the quality of the application is low, in this case, the Google Play Store might reject your application as well. Right. The same with Apple Store as well. They might reject your application because it contains a lot of bugs, because it doesn't have a high security. Right. In this case, they may reject your application. So the last thing is unavailability of a new devices. You might be testing your application on an older version. Right. Older versions may be iPhone 11 devices that is provided by your company. The user now using your application on the different devices, like it is the latest version. Right, maybe user will be using your maybe in iPhone 14, right? And they will download and use your application using iPhone 14. But you as a tester, you don't have this devices. You don't know the behavior of the application on these devices. So those are some challenges that you might care about it while performing testing on a mobile application. Right, so we have a different types of mobile app testing is there. Right? Installation test is there. So for example, installation test to validate that application by installing or uninstalling it on the device. Right, that is a installation testing is there. Then we have a usability testing is there to make sure that the mobile application is easy to use and provide the satisfactory to the customer. Then we have a compatibility testing of the application in different mobile devices, different browsers, and we have to check it in the different screen size and the OS version according to the requirements. We need to validate the compatibility testing. Then one of the important thing is performance testing the performance of the application by changing the connections from 2G to 3G, 3G to 5G to Wi-Fi, right? So different network connection is there. So we have to change that, and we need to validate, how the performance is there with the different network. Then battery consumption, that is also we need to check. Then we have a load testing is there. Load testing is also important in mobile testing. Right? The ideal goal of the load testing is to check the application whether it is able to support for an increased load during the peak time or in a sudden surge in the number of users, right? So that's we need to validate over here in a load testing. So mobile apps are tested for functionality, usability, and compatibility. So all those things we use it to go into the mobile application testing. Right? If the application requires the testing once or twice, do it manually, if regression tests are repeated, right, then we'll go for an automation as well. Right? Mobile testing, we used to go manual testing as well, and we used to go automation as well. In automation also, we have a different tools are there. One of the tool, we can go for APM. That is also automation tool for mobile application testing. Then if you are testing a mobile testing, right? So we'll be using companies going to use emulator or simulator. This is for the devices. They will be, they'll be installing this. They are going to test that application, like mobile application, right? So now this is what mobile testing. When you are working on a mobile devices, you need to consider all those things, right? So whether it is a native, whether it is a hybrid, whether it is a mobile web, right? So you have to consider the things. You need to understand what is the scope of the application. So based on that, we have to validate and we need to test the application. I hope this would be very helpful. So I hope this information helps in performing, mobile testing.